Hey Rachel, how's it going?
Doing well. How about you?
Pretty good, pretty good. So yeah, like thanks for agreeing to, showcase your resume to the world, even though it has been anonymized. And we are going to go through, first of all, like what it is that you want to be applying for, right? And how we can tailor your resume for those exact applications. And also just like some of my general comments on how you can improve it. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
So before we do that, you want to give just like a brief introduction about yourself?
I'm Rachel. I'm currently a third year student at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, and I'm studying statistics and data science. And I started a YouTube channel around a month ago, meant to like bring together a bigger community of data science students and educators and professionals. And I'm still learning a lot, and I'm really excited to do this with Tina. She definitely has a lot of knowledge and is going to help you guys out a lot, and me as well.
Cool. Awesome. All right. Should we get started? Okay, so let's talk about like strategy. Like, what do you think you want to be applying for?
Yeah, so I'm definitely more interested in applying to more like data science specific roles as well as like some software engineering positions. This is my first time applying to more technical positions, so I'm kind of like casting like a big net, but definitely in those two areas.
Cool, cool. So both software engineering and data science. First thing, in terms of that strategy, the best way for doing this is having like a master list of like kind of projects or things that you can put in your resume. Have it like on a Google Docs or somewhere like, Microsoft Word, something really simple. So you can quickly cut and paste stuff in that you need so that you can tailor that for that specific role. Like for example, you can have lots of software engineering role projects, and you can also have a lot of data science projects. And if you're applying for data science, then put in all the data science stuff. If you have software engineering, put in all the software engineering stuff. And that should be pretty quick because the template should be the same. So yeah, like I really like the color. Like it definitely catches my eye. Statistics and data science student, it tells me like who you are and what it is that you're interested in. Like you're a second year statistics major with minors in data science and computer science, passionate about machine learning and data communications, always seeking new opportunities within data science and software. So I would condense that into one sentence. So it's like really pops out. So I have a really good idea of exactly who you are and what you're doing.
That makes sense. And I forgot to change it. I'm a third year, not a second year, but I'll fix that later.
Let's see. So technical skill set, I love that. Python, Java, R, SQL, NumPy, Pandas, all of these things. Again, if you're going to tailor this, like depending on if you're going to go for software engineering or data science, change the technical skills. So if you're going for software engineering, probably don't need to put A/B testing, probably don't need to put pandas, machine learning, text mining, things like that. But you can put more stuff like object-oriented programming, for example. Okay, moving on, education. Right, that looks good. That looks fine to me. Relevant coursework. So in terms of your relevant coursework, try to condense that again. So if you're going for data science, then your relevant coursework should be data science stuff. If you're going for software engineering, then software engineering things. And I would say like try to minimize the amount of relevant coursework to like 3, maybe 4. Because this is just like kind of, it's amazing. Like you clearly have done so many technical technical courses, but I kind of get a little lost just trying to read through them.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Projects, NLP analysis of Bay Area boba shop. Great, love that. Use data scrape with a Yelp API to analyze reviews. Sounds good. Use NLP methods to cluster together similar words and categorize boba shops based on similarities or reviews. Okay, so for this one, I love how you tell me that you scrape the data and then you use NLP and what happened for that. But you can tell me like what happened to the analysis, right? Like did you use that to like change, like increase sales in boba shops? Like, or it could just be like, you were able to figure out which ones are the best boba shops. Like what's the impact of what you did?
Okay, that makes sense.
Machine learning model predicting car price. I think my cat is there. His name is Beepbeep. Yeah, Beepbeep. And my other cat is called Boop. Yep. Anyways, okay. There's Beepbeep. Let's go back to the resume. Let's see. Machine learning model predicting car price. So I assume introduction to data science. This is a course that you took. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I would say like put the course code on, not because anybody cares about the course code, but then I would know that it's a course.
Okay.
Implemented a 4-layer neural network to predict the price of the car. So again, similar to the NLP analysis, amazing how you told me like what you did in a very like simple language. So completely understood what you were doing and also knew how good your model was. But again, try to like drive home that impact a little bit. So you predicted the price with a $100 degree error. Like why does that matter, right? Like does it matter because like it could be used to figure out like what car prices are going to be so you can sell at a higher price, or when is a good time to buy a car. Interests and hobbies: cooking. Rachel eats. That sounds pretty awesome. Going on here, work experience, data science intern, PG&E. So when you say present, it means you're working on it right now, right?
Yeah.
I would say put a date on, maybe like July 2020, and then just put like a dash so we know that it's like continuing on.
Okay.
Okay, so one thing I noticed is that your tenses tend to interchange a little bit. So it's, for example, here use like used, implemented, compared. These are all past tense. Try to stick with one tense. So if you're going to use past tense, then you try to use past tense with everything.
Okay.
That's just kind of like, sorry?
I've just heard like I've heard the thing about like keeping the tenses the same, but when it comes to, like, is there does it flow better like present versus past tense?
Yeah, I think past tense works the best, even if you're talking about the present. And also another one, like try to vary your like first word a little bit more. Like it doesn't really matter that much, but it's kind of like a little boring if you just see like working, repeatedly. That, and try to make it like more exciting, like created, like impacted, things like that. So it's like more action driven as opposed to just passively working on something, because it makes it sound like you just had to work on it, right?
Got it.
Love the second bullet point: created data models in Python are using heat maps, regression analysis, and other relevant visualizations. Like that tells me exactly what technology that you use and what it is that you did. For the first one, I think it's fine the way that it is, but if you really want to drive that home and make that better, try to make me like understand again, like what does this work actually mean, right? Like for me, like looking at it right now, I don't know what PG&E is. So maybe that's just me. Like, I don't know what the company does. And when I read electric business operations team analyzing aged orders based on efficiency and effectiveness, I'm not exactly sure what that means. But yeah, if you can like make that so that someone who doesn't know what PG&E is and is not familiar with this industry in general is able to like understand on a high level what's happening, that would make it much more engaging.
And also, you probably know what PG&E is, Pacific Gas and Electric. They manage all the. Actually, you're not on the Pacific, so maybe you don't.
I'm also not American, so maybe that's another thing.
Yeah, it's just they manage all like the electricity, the water, like all of that stuff.
Okay. It's fine the way it is, but if you like come across super clueless people like myself, that could be like useful to have. Yeah. Data engineering research assistant, Cal Poly engineering present. Yep, so we talked about like the present thing. Yeah, I worked under to analyze neural network models on accuracy and precision in order to correctly classify marine animals in underwater footage. That sounds really cool, and that that like immediately captured my attention. So I think that's really awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't really have that much to say about that. For data analyst, research assistant, that looks pretty awesome to me as well. Okay, YouTube. I would put YouTube under projects.
Okay.
Yeah, I think second bullet point is amazing because that really like brings out what you're passionate about. Statistics workshop leader. Is this part of your university?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so maybe just write like Cal Poly Academic Skills Center so I know like where it is that you did this. That looks pretty good. Facilitated over 30 students a week through self-planned workshops for introductory statistics courses. Sounds good. Yeah, and leadership. So Director of External Relations. Network with other chapters in California to host networking and social events. Worked on, yeah, so again, like just like I don't want to sound like a broken record, but just like generally try to think about impact. The way that I usually structure like one section is first high level description of what is happening so that someone who has no idea what your industry is or what your project is knows what you're talking about. Second one is describe like throw in like Python, R, those like technical things that you did. And then third one is if you have a third one where you can also integrate that with your second one, focus on impact. Like, why does that matter? Why does your analysis matter? Like, you now worked with other chapters and you worked in an executive board. Like, what came out of that? Did you like create an event, right? Did you have a speaker? Did you help people get jobs?
Yeah, okay, yeah. And that makes a lot of sense. I feel like I've been focusing on like what I did and how I did it, but not the impact of it. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. And just like as a note, I assume that you also did like some software engineering projects with like in some of these classes, right? So when you're writing the projects for software engineering, definitely focus on a tech stack. I would actually have just a separate bullet point that was something like tech stack where technologies used, colon. My cat is here again. Hello.
So I should make it clear in the description for those projects like what language I use then.
So right now, like you would have like use natural language processing methods to cluster together similar words, for example, right? For like in your NLP project or in data science. For software engineering, I would just be like very specific, like technical stack or technologies, colon, and then just list out the technologies that you've used.
Okay. Okay, I'll do that. So I think it looks like I'll probably have to make two separate resumes, one for software and for data science, and then like specify my coursework and projects for that. Okay.
Yeah, for sure. I think that would be best. And like I said earlier, have that strategy, like stick everything into one like just giant Google Docs so you can cut and paste like whatever it is that you need for that specific job. Because I assume like you might be applying to some jobs with like slightly like hybrid job descriptions, like maybe like data engineering positions, that you kind of like want to mingle together a little bit the data science and the software engineering.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Awesome.
I had another comment, which is the fact like I said, I love the coloring. Like the design is like on point. My only comment about that is like this would be great if you're going for like tech, where you're going for somewhere that's like more like artsy. If you're going for like something that's more traditional, especially like finance, banks, they want something that's a little bit more traditional as well. So in that case, the best thing would be just like have a pretty boring resume. You know what I mean by that, right? Like literally separated by lines, no color, black and white. That's like kind of the industry standard for like finance and like more boring industries. So it's much safer to go with that. Like not that having like a cool resume is bad. If someone is just like a very traditional person, they're like, oh my gosh, like there's like color on this, like I can't handle it. Like you don't want that to be the reason why you don't get an interview.
Oh, wow. Okay. So then I'll make 3 copies of resumes then. Okay. But that,
Yeah. I mean, that should be easier to make than the other ones because you just like get a template and just stick it on, right? And like you don't have to do like any of the formatting and stuff. Also, if you have a resume like that, you can put more stuff in. So you can like stick in another project just because of the way that the spacing is.
yeah. Okay. Got it. I just wanted to ask, well, like software that like where you submit your resume in, it's the first thing that sees your resume and like kind of scans for the keywords and everything. So like hearing that like they're just the standard resume templates, those are the best because those are the most like
Oh,
so yeah, I
yeah.
did that.
For sure. That's actually another reason why I suggest like having a more traditional resume, especially if you just make it on Microsoft Word. It's very, very easy for these parsers to do it very well. If you're going for tech companies, you're usually better at parsing stuff, so it could be okay, but it might not be worth it to risk it, even for tech companies. For like finance industries, like things that are not very tech specific, that is definitely going to be a problem for them. Also, the reason why I suggest that having like the tech stack, like writing exactly like what things that you use, is because they often scan it based upon these like buzzwords, these keywords. And if you have like a bunch of them, that counts as being good.
Okay.
Yeah. So do you have any like questions or like things that maybe I can explain a little bit better?
I don't think I have any questions. You went over a lot, so yeah.
I think that if you did that, everything would look great. Yeah, because it's already like done pretty well. Like there's nothing when I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, like this is something that we definitely need to change. I'm more like nitpicking at specific things and just kind of elevating it to the next level.
Is your resume just like the standard default like type of resume?
Mine is a standard resume, mostly because I didn't want to risk the parsing thing that could happen. And also because I was applying for some traditional roles in finance and I didn't want to risk someone being extra traditional and not liking my colors and stuff.
Okay, cool. Okay, got it.
So I hope that was really helpful for you. Feel free to reach out to me again if you have any questions or maybe you update your resume. I'll be happy to take a look as well. Let me know if you enjoy this style of video where I talk through a resume. That's a bit more personal. So instead of just reviewing a resume by myself, I try to have a conversation so the other person knows like why I'm making the suggestions I'm making. Check out Rachel's channel, which I'll link above and also in the descriptions below. If anybody else wants me to do this kind of video with them where I go over some resumes, send me an email. If you like this kind of content, please remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I just started making YouTube videos, so every single like, every single subscriber, every single comment really means so much to me and it encourages me and motivates me to make more videos for you guys. Thanks for watching this video and I'll see you guys next time.